the question is, how do we think of agroenergy as a basis for local development in rural areas today? In fact, the rural energy, had been very much associated in Brazil with large-scale plantations and had been problematically related also to questions of the displacement of food crops and also problems related to treatment of rural labour and this type of thing. With the development today of crops, oil crops for energy, the idea is very different, and the idea is to try to develop energy from oil crops within production systems which are integrated into the existing productive practices of family farming and adapted to the crops which are developed in the different regions. In this way, it is hoped that the development of oil crops for energy will not disrupt the existing patterns of production, will create local sources of energy, and at the same time will create new opportunities for income to the extent that production is also developed for processing and outside of the region. So in both ways they will increase the autonomy of the regions, developing their own sources of energy. It will represent a new source of income for a cash crop, in that sense, for the family farmers in these regions. And at the same time, care is being taken to develop systems which will be compatible with existing production practices and therefore will not negatively affect the production of food crops. So in this way, the current ideas on agroenergy is very much connected to the local development and rural development based on family farming and not the model which has previously prevailed, which has been large-scale plantation production, monoculture, with all the negative implications both as regards working conditions for rural labour and the production of food crops. In the case of isolated rural communities, communities which are not able to be supplied by the dominant grids, the opportunity to develop energy on the basis of diverse oil crops particularly is also a question which could transform the conditions for development of these communities, because it will mean that in addition to generating energy for domestic uses, it will also provide energy for diversifying productive activities in the region, and therefore it can be the basis to the first step in transforming these communities into communities which are no longer isolated. And the other questions which have been already discussed prevail in this situation as well, in the sense that the aim is to focus on crops which are traditionally produced in these different regions and to work on the basis of production systems which allow for a compatibility between the development of energy crops and food crops. At the same time, this will demand considerable input on the part of rural extension work to consolidate the new production systems, and also to develop the appropriate processing techniques for the different crops in the different contexts. But the way in which the program is being conceived is one in which the production of energy will be integral to the development, economic development and social development of these communities.